John Fedro here with mobilehomeinvesting.net. In this video, we're going to answer a viewer's reader mail. This is take number like 11, by the way. You think, what would be so hard? Print out a viewer reader mail, read it, answer the question, upload it, be done. It's easy, right? Well, I want to try to keep this video as short as possible while having a ton of content packed in here. So I'm going to try to keep this as coherent as possible and as articulate as possible, but we are going to cover some like sort of meaty topics, and I'm going to sort of put your mindset in a certain, different situation. Anyway, with that said, let's go to the viewer's reader mail. I asked David, this is from David, I asked David if it was okay if we all sort of learn about this and go over his question together, because I think it talks about a great sort of mindset on mobile home park managers' minds, mindset of mobile home investors like ourselves, and how we work together. So the reader mail goes, "Hi John, Dave here. I'm getting turned down occasionally by park managers who don't like me buying, rehabbing, and selling a mobile home in their park." So first things first, great job getting out and talking to park managers. But if you're being turned down 10 or 20% tops-ish, that's not uncommon. So park managers, for typically one of 4 different reasons, some of those reasons are overcomable, some are not overcomable, but for one of a couple different reasons, we do try to push past and see what those reasons are and try to overcome them. But if not, some managers don't want you there. Now, most managers do, and we should focus our energy on the managers that do want us there versus the ones that don't. But if you're talking to 10 managers and 1 or 2 of them don't want you there, that's not uncommon. If more than that don't want you there, it could be your local territory, so go to other areas and see if you have the same results. But it may be what you're saying, the script that you're using or not using, the terminology you're using, the verbiage, the goals that you have. When we're in line with what a park wants and we share the same goals and outlook and mindsets, park managers should want to do business with us. We're a relatively safe person to sell to. We're going to keep the home in the park. We're going to fix up the home. We're going to get new people in the home, increase foot traffic with our advertising, pay lot rent, rain or shine. We can pay cash for some of the homes, definitely do repairs. We're not going to rent it. So again, most managers should want to work with us. We don't say anything that would usually rub them the wrong way. However, if a manager doesn't want you there, we typically say, okay, and even with them, we can still create value. We might be able to move a home into the park. We might be able to sell that park a used mobile home, or wholesale that park a used home. We know what the park is looking for because they're looking to buy homes. Wholesale them a home and make a couple $1,000s. Or move a home out of their park because they don't want that home anymore, and we can move it out of there for free. We'll pay for the move, and we'll move it to somewhere else where we can make a profit with it. So with that said, long story short, 10 or 20% of managers that don't want you there, that's not uncommon. Maybe less than that is good too, or should be good too, but over that, you should not, there might be something else an issue. But then you go on to ask Dave, how about this strategy? I buy a fixer-upper mobile home in that same park where the manager doesn't want you there, or they don't want you there buying and rehabbing and selling. So you buy a fixer-upper in that park anyway. You quietly fix it up and rehab it over 1 to 3 month period of time. You mind your business. You're friendly. I'm fixing the home up. I'm nice to my neighbors. I keep it clean. I pay my space rent in a timely manner every month. 4 months down the road, boom, I decide to sell. I will only sell to a park-approved buyer. Don't I have every right to do that? Signed, Dave in Los Angeles. Dave, thanks so much again for writing this letter, this email. I think it's a really good one because it shows how creative we are. It shows that, even if the manager doesn't necessarily want us there, we're not trying to take advantage of everyone. We want people to be happy, the seller to be happy, the buyer to be happy. And when you're relatively certain that you have 10 or 20 grand just waiting there for you, that can be tempting. You might want to circumvent the manager. And basically what you're asking, Dave, and for the folks listening, just to sort of recap what he's asking, Dave, you're asking, can I misrepresent myself, and can I say that the home is for me, I get approved, I put my credit on the line, or you get approved, you put your credit on the line, you move into the home, or you move a few things into the home, and over the period of a couple months, you show up, you sleep there 1 or 2 nights of the week maybe, who knows, and you're doing repairs, you're paying lot rent. 4 months down the road, you decide to sell. The manager would probably not know the difference. They would believe whatever story that you went with. much of the time, I want to say. And it sucks to have to hide and to lie and to, be on the outskirts and not be straight up with the park manager or a park. Whenever we do a deal in a community, that usually leads to 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 other deals in that park. People like us, they know us, word of mouth gets around, the manager likes us and knows us. If we're hiding ourselves from the manager, yes, we can do one deal in the park potentially. And if you make 5 or 10 or 20 grand, it can be compelling. If you're looking at a deal, Dave, and you know that you can get in there and lie to the manager and say it's going to be for you and then resell it, maybe you do that. Keep in mind though that if a park manager doesn't want you there might be something else going on in their mind. They might be malicious for some reason. They might have ulterior motives. They might not be telling you everything. They might not have the residents' interest at heart. Because whenever you go to sell the property, they may say, well, they may put the brakes on you selling the property. They may steal some of your people that you bring in to see your home. They may talk negatively about your property. They may deny people left and right for different reasons. If you're ever going into a park, my warning, like if you're ever going into a park, Dave, that doesn't want you there and you're going to lie to the manager, and for everyone else listening as well, talk to the other residents in the community that are selling a home, or talk to the neighbors, or talk to the manager at least twice, because I want you to hear it, not just, I want you to talk to the manager at least twice so you can hear if they sound the same both times, or if they sound like where they say one thing one time and then they lie to you the next time, or they misrepresent things the second time, or they're friendly once and then they're terrible, angry the next time. Also talk to other sellers in the park to hear if you hear any horror stories about that manager. Maybe even go on Google or Yelp to see if there's any reviews about this manager being particularly shady or even criminal in some ways. It's very rare that a manager would be very vindictive and they would really try to stop you from selling your home. But if they ever found out that you were lying, or they don't treat their residents fairly, you could be walking in to a booby trap. It might be good that the park turned you down because you don't want to work with that park in the first place. So if you are going to push through, just make sure that you know who this manager is, and when you go to sell the home, you know what the application requirements are for a fact. You know that the manager is normal and ethical as well. I hope that kind of made sense. I went off on a little bit of a tangent there. But with regards to, buying a mobile home in that park and then, being under the disguise that you're living there, if you sell that home, you really can't come back very easily. You have to make up another excuse. Oh, hey, I'm back and I decided to buy another mobile home. I'm going to give it another shot, living in a mobile home. Or I was out of the state, now I'm back and I want to, relive here. And keep in mind that corporations own a number of parks in your area. They may, some managers that work at, let's say one corporation owns 20 parks in a certain area. Well, some of those managers might be friendly. Others of those managers might be having a bad day, or they might not be friendly towards you for a variety of a couple different reasons. So if you do purchase a mobile home in Park A, you may be able to purchase a home in Park B that's owned by the same corporation, or not. Maybe they talk to each other and they say, well, hey, this person, they were just living over at your park. Why are they moving over here? And what did you think of them? And it'll get back to you. So again, just being on the outskirts and having to lie and make up things is not the long-term business that we want. We're not expecting an easy business, but we do want something that's ethical and repetitive, and something that's consistent, and being, I guess, just understanding it for what it is. That park doesn't want you there, so you're probably just going to do one deal and then move on. You do want to keep coming back because managers do get fired or replaced, and if one doesn't like you, the next one may. Or you can break down, the one manager over time, and they start to like you and trust you more, the more and more that they see you and hear you, that you're not like a fly-by-night person that's going to take one of their homes and just rip it out of the community or something like that. Also be aware that you can partner with sellers. The investor and the seller partner together, because the park manager says, well, you may not buy the home to resell it, but if you team up with the seller, and this could look a variety of different ways, with paperwork, with protections, with if there's title transfer, who's paying lot rent, who's doing the repairs. So you and the seller join forces to go ahead and sell the home for top dollar and then split the profits. Or you pay the seller half of the amount of money that's agreed upon now, half the agreed upon money when you sell it. It can look a variety of different ways, but that's just another strategy. There's a few others when dealing with parks that don't necessarily want you there, but most parks will want you there, or they'll at least be open-minded to you being there. So if the parks don't want you there, just move along. Now, we didn't even mention the fact that in California, like in many states, California asks that you have a dealer's license. Now, different states have different requirements. Some states have a minimum of mobile homes you can you can purchase and resell for a profit before you are asked to get a license. But in California, Dave, you ask, don't I have every right to do this? If it was the state talking, they would say, well, no, we ask that you become a licensed. And in California, you want to get a dealer's license, a mobile home dealer's license, mobile home retailer's license, a mobile home broker license, or a real estate agent's license. Different states will vary and will allow you to do different things with mobile homes depending on the different licenses that you have. But I want to make this video because I know that there's people around the country buying and selling mobile homes in every state outside of Hawaii, buying and selling mobile homes in parks without licenses. They're supposed to, maybe the state doesn't require, but some people are doing this without a license, some are doing with a license. Some people are even doing things like super wrong. They're being malicious, they're taking advantage of people. Their ethics are horrible. Or they're doing the right thing, but they have the wrong paperwork, or they have the wrong procedures or due diligence process, or they're putting themselves into jeopardy. Let alone they're putting the park into jeopardy and the buyer or the seller. So I think that this question is in this mindset of, should I go around the park manager and do a deal? I think that's important to answer because just in the real world, you're supposed to have a license, but I think we can all, you watching this video, there's people out there that are going to be licensed. There's people out there that have no intentions of ever being licensed. And there's other ones that they want to be licensed before they do any mobile home deals, regardless of their state. They just are, and there's not necessarily a right or wrong there, with regards to your comfort level. You want to do things ethically and by the book when possible. I hope that this helps and makes sense. In short, yes, you can do one of these deals, but it wouldn't be what the park wants. It wouldn't be what the state wants. It wouldn't even be in the best term of like a long-term business for yourself. But do recognize what it is if you do one of these deals, and recognize that there's a lot of precautions to take as well. And don't let this stop you from looking at other parks as well and pushing forward with your business. Every time we say yes on one deal, it stops us from pursuing something else. We're saying no to other things. So do keep that in mind. I hope that this all helps and made sense. I hope it answered more questions than it brought up, but sometimes these videos don't do that. They bring up more questions, which is good. Ask those questions, get more answers, ask more questions, get more answers. Speaking of questions, if you have any questions or concerns, you agree with what I'm saying, you don't agree with what I'm saying, please go ahead and comment it below. If you have any mobile home related wants, you can go to mobilehomeinvesting.net and get more information there. You can also email me at support@mobilehomeinvesting.net. Thanks again for watching this. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Ring that bell for the notifications when you subscribe so you can be alerted to when I put out new videos. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.